Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we head to Louth to find out about a new craze of goalball and a new club there. We go to Hull for the weekly reflections with the city's newest vicar, and my guest tonight is Pete Green, who's co-written a new book on the Mariners called We Are Town. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Hugh Riches. Time now for the news headlines.
Police are appealing for witnesses after a 76-year-old Hessel man was assaulted as he made his way home on Sunday night. Between 11:30pm and 11:45pm, the man was walking alone through Hessel Square when he passed two young men walking in the opposite direction. The men then allegedly turned back and assaulted the victim, punching him in the face, head and stomach. Elsewhere, a new service set up in East Hull hopes to help tackle social isolation in the elderly. The Lonely Lunch Hour Club, based at the resource centre on the Ings estate, offers a free lunch and a welcoming environment. Helen Thompson, one of the community guardians who runs the club, says it's a lifeline for many.
Yes, I think it's really good because we start with somebody that's at home, never comes out, doesn't know anybody, and we'll work with them and encourage them to come and join the lunch club. We'll maybe escort them into it, and then once they've been a couple of times, we'll get them onto community transport so they can come along on their own, and then they make friends at the centre, and also they get a nice healthy meal as well. We do some mental stimulation afterwards, some activities, say quizzes, bingos and things like that.
A dog rescue centre in Hull says they are struggling financially and fear they may have to close their doors. The Oakwood Dog Rescue Centre relies fully on public donations, but they are now finding it difficult to keep costs down and cope with the number of dogs in their care. Owner Jill Williams tells us if they do have to close, all the animals will be rehomed, but she says they are hoping that they can hold on.
We've been running since 2009 and it's always been a financial struggle trying to make ends meet each month, but it's really come to a head this year where the money is just not coming in as quick as the bills. So I've been faced, unfortunately, to have to make the decision as the founder and trustee that financially, if we don't manage to secure financial stability by the end of the year, we can't continue.
And a 26-year-old man is due to appear at Grimsby Magistrates Court charged with possession with intent to cause fear of violence in a fray using an air weapon following a 10-hour standoff with police on Saturday night. Officers from Humberside Police were called at 8:40pm after reports of a disturbance at the address on Wheelsby Street where someone was reportedly threatened with a firearm. And that's the latest from the news.
Goalball was invented as a sport for disabled veterans after the Second World War, and it gained great popularity in this country following the 2012 Paralympics. Now, the Goalball Club in Louth is looking for new members, both sighted and partially sighted, to join them and enjoy a sport that can change people's lives, as Dave Nunn discovers.
It's a sport that made an appearance at the London 2012 Paralympic Games and is currently on a drive for new players. But what exactly is goalball?
Goalball is a Paralympic sport for visually impaired people. It was invented for World War II veterans in Germany, and it was developed as a sport, an exclusive sport, and basically was adapted for visually impaired people. But the best thing about goalball is anybody can play goalball.
Goalball is a unique sport that can be played by both blind or partially sighted people against people who are perfectly sighted and wearing blindfolds. These two teams compete to score the most goals using a ball that has bells and chimes inside it, so players have to rely on sound. Philip used to play for the British national side and says that while the game looks simple, it is fairly hard to play.
So in goalball, everybody has blindfolds. So if you're sighted or visually impaired, you're all on the same playing level field, and it's fun for everybody, especially sighted people, because it's losing their sight, so they've got to use their hearing the most important. When I first started goalball, it was very difficult. When I got more experience, I enjoyed it more, but when I first started, it was very hard, but fun.
Jake is a goalball player who gets involved in the training at Louth. He was diagnosed with a brain tumour when he was 12, and the resulting operation led to him losing his sight. He says playing goalball has changed his life, allowing him to stay fit after he lost his sight and continue his love of sports.
I find it was my way back into fitness, because before I was blind, I used to be a very sporty lad, and when I went blind, it was quite incredible that I could actually play a sport. And I've met so many great people playing goalball. It's like a family. It's really good. I love it.
Jake's story is echoed by Philip, who says playing goalball at a professional level has changed his life as well.
You know, goalball's changed my life from the start, from 6 years ago, and it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. It's, I said, changed my life, and now I'm a coach. I'm determined to help other people to let goalball change their lives as well.
Philip's message to blind or partially sighted people or their parents is to come and try out something new that could change your life.
Goalball gives your child confidence and fitness and friendship and a family. We're a big goalball family. Wherever club you're from or wherever part of the country or in the world, we're all one big family.
You're watching Estuary News. Still to come, it's time for another weekly Reflections, and we'll have all the latest sports news and results. We Are Town is the latest book about Grimsby Town Football Club that's been written by Mariners fans. It looks back at the memories of the club from the year 1970 to 2002, and joining me now is Pete Green, who's helped put the book together. Pete, thanks very much for coming in.
Hi Heath, thanks for having us.
1970 to 2002, are they the glory years?
In many ways they are. There were lows and highs during that time. But the early times during that period were quite a heady time for the club. Lots of fans will remember the glory days of Laurie McMenemy in the 4th Division Championship in 1972, where more than 20,000 fans packed into Blundell Park to see a team in the basement league. The goal-scoring exploits of Matt Tees. There've certainly been lows during that time as well, but I think they're outweighed by the goods during that time. And I think where we cut off in 2002 is the end of an era in some ways.
Okay, well, we'll talk about why that might be, but what can we expect from this book? Who's written it, who's contributed, and what have they put in there?
This book has been put together by two of us, by my co-editor Pat and I, Pat Bell. The authors are something like 20-25 different town fans, some of whom went on to be professional journalists, people like Steve Beerley at The Guardian. So
there's a great tradition of literary writing about football, isn't there? About sports in general. But Grimsby is better at it than anywhere else.
I think we're extraordinarily blessed for a relatively small town, a relatively small club, certainly at the moment, with a huge preponderance of fantastically talented authors. In bringing the book together, we've reflected on why that might be the case. There's certainly something about the club.
And in any writing about sport, it's not just a report of the scoreline or who scored the goals or what the weather was like on the day. It's a complete, devoted, emotional attachment to what's going on the field.
The beauty of We Are Town is that I think for the first time in any book about the Mariners, we've got the events on the pitch linked very strongly to what was going on in authors' lives, in fans' lives at that time, and in this way it really conveys the emotional experience of what it's been like to support Town during that period.
And it's not just Grimbarians that support the Mariners.
No, it's not the road most travelled, but we do have some contributors who have become Town fans despite not growing up in Grimsby, who certainly couldn't be accused of glory hunting. But people who've become attached to the club from elsewhere.
It's international. I mean, you'd expect people across the globe to maybe have a certain thoughtless respect for Manchester United, but you don't expect people in far-flung parts of the planet to be supporting Grimsby Town.
You don't. We've got authors who've become attached to the club through the relationship with a partner who supports the club. We've got people whose dads were Town fans but who grew up elsewhere in the British Isles. We've even got a Norwegian contributor which is a whole kind of subplot of Mariners fandom, actually, about the links between, I suppose, the fishing port and Scandinavia. There's a whole enclave of town fans out there, actually, in Norway and Sweden, who come over from time to time.
It goes the other way around as well, of course. There's the Grimsby diaspora, so there are people who've left Grimsby but have never, their hearts remain at Blundell Park.
The exile factor is quite a strong influence, I think, in the way people perceive the club, write about the club. As well, it gives you retain the connection and the emotional connection, but you get a certain detachment and a certain distance as well, which informs the writing in some ways.
Pete, don't go away. We'll come back after the break and talk about the club itself a little bit more, its past glories and maybe its present woes. Although it's not doing all that badly at the moment, it's having a good time.
It could go either way.
It could go either way. Pete, really. And it's a game of two halves, I expect, as well. Thanks very much, Pete. Don't go away. We'll come talk about the football in a bit more detail. Join me after the break when the Reverend Ben Norton of Kingswood in Hull will bring us today's reflections. And, of course, as ever, we will have all the latest local sports, news and results. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come, we'll have reflections from the newest vicar in Hull, and we will have all the latest sports and news and results. But talking of sports, still with me is Pete Green, talking about We Are Town, a new book written by fans of Grimsby Town Football Club, and to be published when?
We are launching the book this Friday. It's being printed as we speak, and cartons of which will be delivered to Blundell Park for the launch due this Friday at the McMenemy's Functioning Suite.
And anybody can turn up?
Anybody can turn up. It's an event very much for all town fans. You don't have to be a member of the trust. You don't have to have bought the book, anything like that. It's we're telling people it's your club, these are your stories, and it's your party.
Okay, Friday, what time?
It's 7 o'clock, 7:30. I think people can check the details and buy tickets on the Mariners Trust website. The Trust are publishing the book for us, so all the details are up there at marinerstrust.co.uk.
And can people buy the book online?
Yes, the book is £10. They can buy that from the Mariners Trust website as well. Tickets to the launch party this Friday are £25, which includes a copy of the book and a 3-course meal and the event, so very good value.
Extremely good value, fantastic evening out, and very literary as well. 1970 to 2002 are the years you've chosen to reminisce about and to reflect on. What were the high points?
The high points would have been immediately the 1972 4th Division Championship under Laurie McMenemy, the resurgence of the club and the successive promotions in 1979 and 80 under John Newman and George Kerr. Grimsby have a habit of doing things in twos. Our promotions and relegations tend to be back to back. We declined again through the 80s, but then the club found its feet again under Alan Buckley in the late 80s and early 90s. And then possibly the club's the greatest season of modern times in 1997 to 98 with our two first ever trips to Wembley within about 6 weeks and 2 wins. In the what was then the Auto Windscreen Shield final and the 3rd Division playoff final.
Like all mighty empires, there has been decline and fall. What's gone wrong?
Yeah, the collapse of the TV deal between ITV Digital and the Football League in the early noughties was generally thought to be the beginning of that great period, the beginning of the end of that great period for the Mariners, and the necessary cost cutting that went with that.
That's because the Mariners relied on those television incomes more than other clubs that maybe had a much bigger.
That's
stadium,
right.
Much bigger, a much fuller stadium every week.
As a second flight club at that time, attracting perhaps 6,000 fans, we were punching way above our weight, and that gave us some great times as well, giving a bloody nose to the more jumped up clubs in that league, perhaps at the time.
Jumped up. Successful is what you mean.
Yeah.
The Mariners do have an incredibly loyal support, though, don't they? I mean, even when they're languishing around in very unexotic and unfancy parts of the footballing world, those people just still turn out, don't they?
They do. I mean, just the other week when we played Cheltenham Town, we were lucky enough to have more than 5,000 turn out, which I'm pretty sure we had lower attendances than that at times as when we were playing 3 divisions higher. So it's as a club higher up the league, I used to bemoan the paucity of our support in that league, but those are people who've stuck with the club through, well, thin and thin, really, in most cases. So it's impressive. And just on the way to the studio today, I've been talking to some people who are travelling to Barrow tomorrow evening, who are going to do a report on the match, which is a fantastic journey to undertake in midweek.
It is. The book, and just one more note, the book does contain poetry.
It does. We've managed to sneak some poetry in there. There's a guy called Gordon Wilson, who's a Grimsby-based poet, very talented guy.
I'll have to stop you there, Pete, because we're running out of time, but just a very quick reminder, what's that website where people can get the book?
It's the Mariners Trust website at marinerstrust.co.uk.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Pete. It's time now for our weekly reflections, this week from the Reverend Ben Norton from Kingswood in Hull.
My name's Reverend Ben Norton. I'm the Church of England's pioneer minister based in Kingswood in Hull. The idea of my role here is that this is a brand new housing complex that is still being built around us, and so there is no established church here for people to go to. So the Archbishop has asked me to dream a dream and to do something brand new. So over the next few months and few years, I'll be listening to the local people, seeing what the rhythms of life are, and then creating spaces for people to engage in faith. For some people that might be for the very first time, and it might mean that we do things in a very creative and very different way. We're working with local churches and with local people, but the plan is not to have a plan. The plan is to dream a dream. So we're not quite sure what it will end up looking like, but we know this is an exciting journey, an exciting new thing for the Church of England in this place.
Erica's here with me on the sofa with some of the stories that have caught her eye. Erica.
Hello, Hugh. I'm going to start off with the Grimsby Telegraph then. North East Lincolnshire Council is facing spending cuts of up to 30% following the latest government announcement. This is affecting all local councils. North East Lincolnshire Council has had its budget cut by 40% in the past 7 years, including 8 million worth of cutbacks in the last 12 months. So this is on top of previous cuts that have been seen. Going to have an effect, I reckon.
Well, where is North East Lincolnshire or any other local government agency or council going to get its money from if it's being slashed like that quite so often? Yeah. And
it does bring me on to the Humberside Police as well. Because Crime Commissioner Matthew Grove, he's warned that the force is managing a huge financial challenge and he expects that to increase over the coming years. Now this is as figures reveal that crime is down by 0.4%, but recorded violent crime is up by 13%. It is going to include a reduction in a grant of 5.11%. He states it's now unclear with austerity measures if they'll continue, and if they do continue, it is very unlikely that protected services can still be protected in years ahead.
So the Humberside force, which has been under criticism recently, is going to be pared back to the very bare truncheon.
There's some figures here as well to illustrate the size of the challenge. They've saved almost £35 million since 2010, but need to save a further £35.6 million by 2019-20.
Shocking that that 13% rise in violent crime.
Yes.
Absolutely horrific.
Yes. I mean, that's recorded violent crime, yeah. I'm going to come on to a story that's quite apt then. Teachers, a lot of them in Hull and the East Riding are leaving the classroom due to an increase in workload pressures. I think it does stay here in the Hull Daily Mail that the NUT is speaking, that the teachers' union saying that they are struggling to recruit teachers in the East Riding. Some job applicants, well, some job posts are actually getting no job applicants at all.
Well, it's that teachers are underpaid, especially in further education colleges, and not so much perhaps in schools. And it can be soul-destroying work when you realise that you're being invited to create economic units rather than people who are capable of enjoying the rest of their lives in an informed and observant and analytical and articulate way. When that is no longer the mission, it's just a matter of crowd control. You want to find other work.
Very strong opinion there.
Well, one with some experience behind it, perhaps, I'm afraid.
It does say in Hull that at least 10 teachers have already quit as a result of workload pressure.
Okay, and so people in the East Riding looking for teachers.
Yeah.
Erica, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Time now for the sports news.
Hull City midfielder Robert Snodgrass makes his long-awaited return from injury when he plays for Hull City's development side tonight. The Scot has made one league appearance for the Tigers since joining in the summer of 2014. Hull City's development squad takes on Crewe Alexandra at Ferroby's Eon Visual Media Stadium. Kick-off is at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, boss Steve Bruce has been reflecting on his injured players returning and what it'll mean for the club's promotion chances following Saturday's 3-0 win over Middlesbrough.
We've got the ability. The big thing was shaking off all the doom and gloom, and when I think of Diamande coming back and Snodgrass coming back, who plays on Monday, his first game, then I look at the squad, and if we keep focused and we keep disciplined and they keep their heads on, then we've got an outstanding chance, because we've got a very decent team. We need to stay fit, the big players to stay fit, but if we do that, then we'll give ourselves a chance.
Grimsby Town beat St Albans 5-1 at Blundell Park in the FA Cup first round. Scunthorpe United beat Southend United 2-1 on Saturday to secure their place in the hat. The draw for the second round proper of the Emirates FA Cup will be made tonight live on BBC Two. Following this weekend's first round fixtures, there are still 8 ties to be settled in replays next week, whilst the final game of the round will see FC United of Manchester host Chesterfield. Following the draw, the Mariners will be ball at number 12. The Iron will be ball at number 35. It'll take place just after 7, and that's all from the sport.
That's all for tonight. If you have a news story for us, then do please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, details on the screen, or email news@estuary.tv or telephone Grimsby 01472 31553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Rix Petroleum, your local family-owned heating oil supplier this winter.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Another windy day on Tuesday, although less so than Monday, and winds easing a little as the day goes on. Rain will continue again, most persistent over western areas, remaining mild with a maximum temperature of 17 degrees. Wednesday will remain unsettled and often windy with further spells of rain.
Rix, servicing the region's oil boilers this winter from a name you can trust. Get in touch at rix.co.uk or call us on 01482 838383.